to another episode of The Squared Circle. This is episode 5 this week in wrestling. Ethan, we have not had a show for about a week and a half of this particular show. We had planned to take off last week because we had so much content, Labor Day weekend with all the wrestling stuff. Clash of the Castle, Worlds Collide, All Out. We had match predictions every day. Let's take a break from that. But how many times last week did we talk like, oh, we should do a show? We got to do a show.
There's just so much to talk about. There's a lot to talk about.
Tons and tons. You know, coming out of Labor Day weekend, like you said, mentioned all three of those events. A lot of stories on all three of them.
Oh, yeah.
But really, what's the biggest story that came out of Labor Day weekend in wrestling?
Well, at first, what everybody thought was going to be the biggest story coming out of this 3 pay-per-view weekend was the return of Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Yeah.
MJF, when he wore like a mask and he was the Joker in the Casino Battle Royale, and he won that match, or he got helped to win it. I guess he just kind of just walked out and just grabbed it, just so, you know, because if he started wrestling, it probably could
be obvious. Yeah,
obvious who it was. And
we didn't watch that actual event. We watched the other two, but we didn't watch All Out.
Yeah, because it was actually on pay-per-view, not on Peacock.
Yeah.
But he returned that night, winning the casino ladder match.
Yep.
And then what happened after the show became caught the attention of wrestling fans even more than MJF's return.
Yeah, you know, you have Clash of the Castle. You say, well, that was a big event. You know, it was a good show, good matches. I don't know if it was like the greatest show of all time, or there wasn't really anything big and noteworthy that happened. We'll get to that.
Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre was a big match. We've seen him before, and of course,
Gunther and Sheamus got a 5-star rating, and I don't think I watched all.
I did watch it.
Okay,
I don't know. It was okay.
Yeah.
But they're more of just like the kind of wrestlers we like are mostly more like high flying, more agile wrestlers who So, but yes, a surprise coming out of Clash of the Castle, which I'll mention briefly, was right at the end. Drew McIntyre. Did you see the ending?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre. I almost thought that he was actually going to win because he claymored Roman Reigns, knocked him down. It looked like he was going to go for the 3 count. About right at the last second, he was pulled out of the ring by Solo Sikoa, who we've talked about on other videos being in NXT. We talked about that he is the younger brother of the Usos.
That's right.
And now he was on SmackDown on Friday.
That's right.
And it seems like he's going to be staying as an official member of the Bloodline.
So you had Clash of the Castle, then you had Worlds Collide, then you had All Out. And so when All Out went off the air, you're thinking, well, what was the biggest moment from the weekend? It hadn't even happened yet.
No.
Because they did the media scrum afterwards, which they do, and I think that WWE's been doing these now.
Yeah.
This like press conference, and of course CM Punk got the mic. They asked him some questions, and he went off. Went off on Colt Cabana. He went off on Hangman Adam Page. He went off on the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. I mean, horribly went off on him. And I have been very clear, like when he came back, it was cool. Like I liked him back in 14, and I thought he was a good wrestler, my favorite. But as he's come back, he's just a whiner. He's a Bret Hart fan, and I'm a Shawn Michaels fan. And Bret has always been a whiner. He's always been a crybaby. And when you got CM Puke now starting, and he's just like Bret, and I'm so sick of him. And he goes off on all these guys. Maybe he had a reason to, maybe he didn't. And then after that interview, and I don't know all the details of exactly what happened. I don't know if anybody really does. But a melee broke out. Young Bucks, Kenny Omega come to the door, from what I understand, his locker room door, and they got into a fight. Ace Steel was involved in it. They're all suspended, along with some other guys, which I wasn't sure why Cutler and Danielson, all these guys were suspended. I thought they were just there breaking it up, but evidently not. And then Tony Khan starts out Dynamite, suspends them all. He doesn't mention that on Dynamite.
Yeah.
But they're going to crown a new champion.
But finally, thankfully, there will not be an interim title.
Yes.
We've been waiting for this. They've never vacated a belt ever.
Somebody posted the other day, they said, yeah, this is all interim wrestling. Because that's what it's been all summer. And, some of those things they can't control. But they can control the fact that there's an interim champion. There shouldn't be one. And then now we know Punk is injured, going to be out like 8 or 9 months, supposedly.
Yes.
I mean, we don't celebrate his injury.
I don't want him to be hurt, but I'm glad he won't be on TV.
But the question is, and I'm going to ask you this question: does Punk ever come back?
I hope not.
Did they get rid of him? Does he decide, I'm done with this, I'm going to walk away? Does he ever wrestle again in AEW?
Well, I don't know. And for me, after all this stuff that's happening, the things that we're talking about Hangman Adam Page and CM Punk, and now it's turned into Hangman Adam Page and the entire Elite, who are also, he's not only targeting them as personally or as wrestlers, but also as the executive vice presidents of the company. Didn't he say, like, they couldn't even run a target?
Couldn't manage a target, along with a lot of other things that we're never going to say. I don't understand. Punk, I get it. He brings a lot of notoriety. He's a big name. He helps out AEW in that way. And, maybe he should have got a good rate. He was injured before. Yeah. But it's like, if Tony Khan has to pick between Page, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega, or CM Punk, come on.
That's the easiest question.
Yep, Punk is older, he's injury prone, and he's, from what I've read, he's a headache backstage to the wrestlers, to staff. I don't know if the Bret Hart was ever that.
Somebody like that to work for him.
No, get rid of them. Keep these younger guys. Because somebody said the other day, and I think this was perfect. This is not my original thought. If Punk leaves, that's kind of a black eye for AEW. It's kind of it's not the greatest. But if those 4 leave, the company's done. The company's done because they're the backbone of the company. They're the ones that started. I mean, I know Cody left. And it makes you think, like, well, maybe now we know why Cody left. Maybe there was a lot more trouble brewing backstage than we all knew.
I think one way they could clear the problem up, maybe not a lot, but a little bit, at least from what it looks like looking in to what we have heard from backstage, is just to get rid of CM Punk completely.
Yeah.
He's had his career. Don't get rid of Omega and the Young Bucks, who maybe they shouldn't have actually tried to fight CM Punk, but he instigated it anyway.
Yeah.
He needs to be gone. He started a lot of arguments in AEW, and I just think they just need to get rid of CM Punk. Maybe he even has a retirement match against somebody. Have one last match maybe. But I think that the best thing to do would be to get rid of him because, like you said, CM Punk's not going back to WWE.
That's the thing. He's not going
back after everything that happened before. And Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
Of course, Brett went back.
That's true.
Brett went back
years later.
And worse things happened to Brett.
That's true.
That happened to Punk.
That's true. But Omega and the Young Bucks, as quick as they can, will probably go to WWE, especially since now.
You think?
Compared to 2019 when they started AEW, WWE was just, nobody cared. It was just, and then it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And now as they're building their way back up, they're not at the best. They're not as good. It's still not even as good as AEW.
But they're definitely on.
They're on the road up, and it makes you want to watch.
Yeah. And I know we've said this a lot on this particular show, but go back to April of this year. Would we have imagined that after All Out, or even we went to Double or Nothing in Vegas, even after that show, that WWE would be the cool brand, the cool wrestling company?
No.
Would we think like all the guys are coming back to WWE, and that literally AEW, it seems to be, is falling apart? I mean, AEW has been our show for the last couple of years. This is the number one show we want to watch.
Think about everything that's been happening. CM Punk.
Yeah.
Everything with CM Punk that's going on between CM Punk and the Elite. Yeah. They're going to be off TV for a while right now. It's good that MJF came back. That's good.
Yeah.
And some of their matches and some of their storylines and a bunch of different things, the interim stuff, it's just, and I don't know, they've just been declining, and there's something else I thought of, and now I forgot.
Well, speaking of MJF come back, it's the long-awaited return, and I still don't really know what's real and what's not. Like, I thought when they pulled him off television, I don't know, does he really want to leave? And then I know there's all storyline, he's been under a contract, but, sometimes in wrestling, that's a good thing because we don't know is this what's real and what's not. That's what they want. The suspended, reality. The disbelief. We want to know, like, is this real or this is not? That's a good thing, but not always because it's like, well, I don't know. Does MJF does he really want to go to WWE? I mean, is this all storyline? Is he playing both sides? It's very interesting,
but it's very. If this is unscripted, then it's interesting to see it all kind of see how it's going to play out on TV.
Yeah.
If it's not, it's very smart.
Yeah.
Because anything, just like how when everyone was talking about the pipe bomb, MJF's pipe bomb.
Yeah.
When you're not sure if it's real or fake, it's always good.
Yeah.
And MJF can attract a lot of attention that way. You're not sure what's he going to say next about WWE.
Yeah.
And also, is he really serious about wanting to leave when his contract runs up? It just brings people's attention not only to MJF himself, but also to AEW.
It's very good for MJF.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's very good for AEW. In the short term, yes. Like, he came out and delivered the promo the other night. He mentioned Triple H. He mentioned Nick Khan. And all these other things.
Cody Rhodes.
And Cody Rhodes. Like, we love it. As fans, we love it. And it's cool for him. But it kind of makes AEW look like they're a lesser company. Because they have to mention WWE. You don't see WWE coming out and mention, even though they did make a dig at him the other night. Michael Cole did.
What do you say?
It was something to do with Ronda Rousey, and they said something about there's an internal investigation going on of a melee that took place backstage, or something to that effect. It was really like a dig at AEW. They didn't mention AEW, but still, it's like you don't see WWE like mentioning AEW.
No.
Like, Impact Wrestling, which is not on the level of AEW, never has been.
No.
But they always mention WWE. Oh, this guy come with the World Wrestling Entertainment. And I know they do that to try to boost themselves up. But when AEW wants to try to compete with WWE, they shouldn't mention. I just personally don't think they should mention WWE as much as they do.
Yeah.
It looks good for MJF. It gets him over, and it gets a pop with the crowd for a little bit. But long term wise, I don't think it helps AEW, especially when they know there's so much chaos backstage.
Yeah.
But they've sprung up this tournament.
Yeah.
What do you think of the tournament, Ethan, to crown a new champion in AEW?
When I saw the bracket, it actually looked pretty good.
Yeah.
The things I didn't like about it was Chris Jericho's in it, Moxley's in it. People who've already been world champion, even multiple-time world champion like Moxley, they don't need to be in this match. They don't need to be in this tournament at all. I don't want to see the people who've already been champion before.
Yeah.
Even if they're going to lose, I want to see who's next.
Yeah.
To become champion. I want to see Darby Allin.
He's in it.
I wanted to see Sammy Guevara. He's in it.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy. Maybe he's not as big accomplished as a singles wrestler. Orange Cassidy could have been in this tournament.
They haven't treated these guys great lately.
No, and some other people who would have been great if they would have been, used properly last couple months would have been Andrade.
Yeah.
Or Malachi Black, who's now been released.
Yeah.
I think he asked for his release, right?
He asked for his release, from what I hear. Even though I heard it was like conditional, meaning he can't go to WWE, at least not yet.
Yeah. Miro had a huge year last year.
Yeah.
And Darby Allin had a huge year last year.
Yeah.
And neither one of these guys are being pushed properly.
Oh.
And then I saw that Darby Allin was in this tournament, and I said, "Oh, this is going to be great. He might make it, maybe
at least to the finals,
at least to the finals, maybe to the semifinals." I mean, last year he had a huge push. He's other than Adam Cole, he's their next best wrestler in my opinion. Even though he's not used properly, he lost to Sammy Guevara, who had a great start to the year, great ending to last year, a big push, but throughout the rest of this year has not been pushed great at all. Who does not deserve to be. He will not be in the finals. He's just not at that level.
So really, it's only one man. There's only one possible winner in this tournament.
Yeah, someone who I did not want to win at all.
Moxley's been champion twice.
Yeah,
he was just champion. It's not going to be him. Jericho has already been champion.
I can't see him being.
I don't see him being.
He's big enough of a wrestler. He doesn't need to be. Doesn't need it. He's already been. I think they even showed it on the screen. The reason why he got a first round bye is because he's been a 7-time champion.
Okay. And Guevara, we like Guevara, but he ain't gonna win. So it's, I mean, you got Danielson. The only issue with that is, here's what I'm thinking. And I don't hate Danielson.
No.
And I know it's, he's going to have a reign. He came in on his own accord. He wasn't fired. He come there because he wanted to be there. So I know they're going to give him the belt.
That's the thing, though. I don't want to see him be champion. He's been champion. I want to see who's next. I want to see Darby Allin, eventually Jungle Boy, or Sammy Guevara, or Orange Cassidy.
Well, maybe it's his time. He'll get it to carry it to one of those guys.
Or MJF. I want to see it. MJF should have been in this tournament. He should have a first round bye because of his casino.
Yeah.
When is he going to get his match?
Well,
but think about it. Grand Slam's in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's not that far away. I think the semifinals are both on Dynamite this week.
Yeah.
So it's like, it might be a week from Wednesday.
Yeah.
It might be. So Full Gear could be his match.
But like, is Danielson MJF? Because if that's what's next, if Danielson wins the belt and he gets a couple month reign, him against MJF, that doesn't sound great. And the reason why I would be more, even though I know why they're doing Danielson, or at least I think they're doing Danielson, he probably deserves one reign. Mm-hmm. But he's injury prone. So you just had Moxley, and I know anybody can get injured all the time. Paige has been out forever, and he's younger. But it's like you had Punk injured, interim champion. He comes back, he's injured again. You had you need somebody that's going to keep this title and establish it for a few months.
MJF is who we need.
MJF, yeah.
But if any of this is real, you never know when he's.
But I don't think they want MJF to win in the tournament. I just think that's maybe not as exciting as what it could be. But I don't know. There's a lot to think about, and I think they also want somebody like Danielson. We can trust him. He's not going to go crazy. He's not going to go off and like Punk would. But he is injury prone because he's had a lot of injury trouble, and he's a little older.
Yeah. And if it is just going to be a transitional reign, I'd be okay with that. But like, if it's going to be like a 6, 8, 9, 10, I don't want to see him hold it for that long.
No,
and I don't think he will.
No, it's just curious. How long do you think the Bucks will be out? How long do you think Paige will be out? I would think maybe like a month or two. But it seems to me it's going to be a little longer than that. From what I hear, all the Full Gear promotion. I know this stuff could change.
They're not
mentioned. That's November. That's too long, I think. I don't know. And then if they get rid of Punk, will they bring those guys back sooner? Or, man, I've been reading all weekend that they have been sending feelers out. Well, I think some of these feelers that they sent out because they can't necessarily just call and say, hey, we want to work here because we're under contract.
Yeah.
But they can call Cody, or they can call one of their buddies and say, hey, we want to work there, put a word in for us. I think a lot of that, from what I heard, this makes it even more interesting, was when they re-signed their contract earlier this year. It wasn't just recently. Mm-hmm. This was stuff that happened before, like about the time Cody was done. Now, I think they were picked up for another year or something. They're under contract until 2024.
Yeah.
So if the Bucks leave, they have to be released. I don't know about Paige. Man, I'd love to see Paige and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and WWE.
It'd be awesome.
It would be over for AEW. And I don't want it to be over for AEW because I've enjoyed it.
AEW's done so well the past couple years.
Yeah.
What I want to see, I want to see another Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
I want to see Dynamite go to Monday Night.
Yeah.
And compete with Raw. If only Dynamite could get to that level.
Yeah. But
I'd love to see it.
Does it ever feel to you though like WWE is still like a home team? You know what I mean? And like even though you got aggravated with it the last like 7, 8 years, it's like you're still rooting for them to win. Maybe. I mean, you just feel that. Like I don't want AEW to go to business.
I don't want AEW to go to business, but I definitely don't want WWE to go into business.
No, I don't want them either.
I also don't want WWE to be what it's been until the Triple H era started. That was boring. You want it to be interesting like it was all the years before. You want more. You want good quality. You want more than one wrestling company. Multiple wrestling companies that are good. It's good for the wrestlers. Gives them options. I don't know, but you still. I don't know. In my mind, it's still like I want WWE to win. Like the Triple H is back. Like, we're gonna get AEW. Even though AEW's been like, that's what we watch. That's our favorite show that are flying here. So it's very, very, very interesting. Just how your mind works. Yeah. Let's talk about now. Let's move over to WWE.
Go ahead.
Is there anything we could say about Dynamite?
Well, Dynamite was just a standard show.
I thought it was a pretty good Dynamite. One of the best ones I've seen since
they wanted to make a statement with all the chaos going on, and I think they did that. It was a good show.
A lot of good matches. They crowned new trios champions that night. the Death Triangle, which is great.
Yep.
They're a great trio.
Yeah.
And then
and Pac, is it Pac or Pac?
Pac.
We say it wrong every time. He's the first double champion in AEW history. He's the All-American, All-Atlantic champion or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's also the trios champion. I'm not a big trio. I mean, that's fine. I mean, they had some good matches in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Most of which, well, I guess those guys, and then I think of Ospreay and the other guys who really aren't with AEW officially. That was an awesome match.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that was pretty much. That's really the big thing. It's going to be interesting to see where we go toward Grand Slam.
Yeah, and also Adam Page and Bryan Danielson fought.
Yeah.
We did not watch that. We might need to go back and watch it. Danielson moved on in the tournament.
Yeah.
And then Danny Garcia, who I don't really care about Danny Garcia, in his hometown became ROH Pure Champion.
Yeah. I think, just listen to me on this, I think Ring of Honor has hurt AEW. I don't think it's helped them any. I mean, they had their big event, they don't have a weekly show. I mean, it's almost like you don't need all that. And I know that he bought them. We got the the TV rights or whatever, the library, but I don't think that's helped them. I really think AEW has went downhill since Double or Nothing. I mean, I know Ring of Honor was there before then, but I don't know.
It could have been better. They could have, what was speculated and what we mentioned before was ROH being like an NXT of AEW, which would have been good.
And it doesn't seem that's the route they want to go. Just like another company. Which is fine. I don't know. There's a lot of people spinning their wheels, like Cesaro, Claudio, Miro, Andrade, and all these are all the guys that we hear that won out, which is very interesting because I don't know. It's
even Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland.
Yeah.
They've been tag team champions, but they have not had the greatest reign at all.
No, it's not.
Any of their matches they've had have not actually
and it's
been
ending in a couple weeks. It's ending in a couple weeks, I think.
Sadly.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, WWE, I don't know if there's something huge going on right now. I mean, you're coming out, you're just still building on this Triple H era. You've had the SummerSlam, then you had Castle, and I've always said this, I've never been a big fan of these overseas shows. The Castle's fine, or the Saudi Arabia shows. They did just.
Is there one coming up?
There's one coming up in November, the first week of November.
Crown Jewel.
Maybe they'll be a little different, but then just nothing really big happened. It's just
I think
okay
it'll be
show
better this year, just because Triple H is.
Yeah. And you've got new guys. Braun Strowman debuted, and we haven't mentioned that. He did fall. You go, he fell, and I go, I don't think so. He did fall, but accidents happen. Yeah. And then he came out, I guess, on SmackDown. I didn't watch it all.
I think he beat up the Alpha Academy.
He beat up the Alpha Academy. He beat up Otis.
I saw a clip.
So I don't know. There's only so many of these people they can bring back. It's cool. It's going to be interesting to see how they use these guys. Also, LA Knight teased going back to, he's Max Dupree now. He teased going back to being LA Knight. I like all that stuff. The Imperium is back together. They get their old music. I think Pete Dunne is going to have his name back hopefully soon. Triple H is doing all the things that we want. Really, he's correcting all the wrongs that we felt like had happened over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and it almost seems like when one show comes out of the blue and just becomes a great show.
Yeah.
Like NXT was before. They were the best.
Yeah.
And AEW came in, everybody's eyes turned toward AEW.
Yeah.
And NXT completely lost that war. Like they were destroyed by AEW.
Yeah.
People are wanting to see what's the next big new thing.
Yeah.
AEW is starting to decline as WWE's just starting to get better. It's
Yeah.
almost like you can't. In the Attitude Era, it was like both of these shows are just like so great.
Yeah.
But it's almost like at one time like WCW was just above WWE for a short time.
Yeah.
And then WWE just started getting closer, and it was only not that long a time where they were kind of even, right?
Yeah,
and then WWE just blew them out of the water, and NWO just went downhill. It's almost like there's only one show that there's not like, oh man, which one's the best?
Yeah.
It's almost like, at least for the majority of the time, there's always one show that stands out.
Yeah, they're definitely not here. I mean, as far as the company's concerned, we know WWE is way up here. Now Khan's money, he's way up here, and they're down here. So there's a kind of a balance there. But yeah, it's interesting that while WWE is going up and Triple H, bringing these guys back, and all these things happen, it is the time that AEW is going down, and it has nothing to do with this. for the most part. It has everything to do with their trouble. What if they were, running on all cylinders and WWE was going at it? And it still could happen. You can't count AEW out. It's not like they're over. Some people will say, well, they've kind of, the honeymoon phase is over, those good years. I don't know. It's just going to be interesting to watch. We've mentioned it several times. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan.
Oh, yeah. Is there anything we can say about WWE that we haven't already said?
NXT has grown on me. They're having their 1-year anniversary. I've hated the 2.0. I wish they would just drop the stupid 2.0. I thought that was only going to be for a few weeks. What is their stupid slogan?
As close as it gets.
As close as it gets.
What? As close as it gets.
I don't know. And the thing about it, it's just like I've kind of maybe gotten used to it. It's almost like something changes, it's hard to get used to, and you don't like it, but finally it's just okay. That's just kind of what it is. It's just okay. Some of it's good. Some of the guys are good. I'm glad that they're bringing guys in. Yeah. And I guess I didn't watch all of SmackDown, but when they brought in Solo, they showed like highlights of some of the stuff he did in NXT, which they never do. Vince never did that. He changed their name and pretended like they weren't with him, which I never understood. Why spend money and time and invest into this character on NXT?
There's only a couple exceptions.
To start over. Yeah, there's a few exceptions.
Shinsuke Nakamura for a very short time.
Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Some of the guys at the beginning, but the last few, it's like, why are they completely changing? They started with like the Viking Raiders. They used to be the War Raiders, and then it was like, then they would completely. Why put all that time and effort into promoting them in NXT and building them up to totally? It didn't make any sense.
No.
I think that's gone. I think that's over.
Mm-hmm.
Excited about it.
Oh yeah. Nothing. You got anything else to say? There's probably something else we could talk about, but
I think that's good. I think that gets people, some. We'll continue on next week. We'll be back with episode 6 next week. We're gonna watch Raw tonight. We'll watch Dynamite this week. SmackDown. We'll probably turn SmackDown on, and we'll probably turn on NXT. That's kind of where we're at anyway. Rampage really doesn't get much watch. Rampage is a sad story. Even though Tony Khan, I think, did say that things are gonna be changing, and it's gonna be a show worth watching again.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. Thanks for watching our show.
Yep.
The Squared Circle.
I hope you've followed us up for the last half hour because we've been talking for a half hour.
Wow, it's hard to believe. All right. Thanks for watching.